Sometimes I wonder just how low each Australian government is willing to go to keep the housing Ponzi alive. And then the latest feeble attempt at a leader comes up with the 5% first home guarantee scheme. For anyone who doesn't know the Australian housing market, I would probably best describe it like one of those runaway steam trains that you used to see in those old black and white movies. The train is the housing Ponzi and its high house prices. Now there is a bridge coming up, but the bridge has fallen down, so the train is fast approaching a deep ravine. If the train goes into the ravine, then it will mean falling house prices, which will mean the Ponzi is finally crashing. Since the RBA-induced house price pump during COVID, many regions of Australia have seen double or even tripling of prices. Now this is a nightmare for young people and renters, but it is practically a lottery win for homeowners and especially landlords. The more properties they've got, the richer they've become. And it shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you, one of the biggest property owning cohorts are MPs. You've got other countries now like New Zealand, Canada, the US, the UK, who also had massive central bank induced housing bubbles created during COVID. But these countries are allowing their bubbles to slowly deflate again, but not in Australia. The government is so addicted to making personal profit themselves from the housing Ponzi that they won't let house prices come back down again. They want to lock in all that juicy capital gain that they've made for themselves. So as the train approaches, the desperado Albanese and his useless Claire O'Neill are throwing people at the problem. They have opened up the borders to anyone who wants to enter Australia. Now this allows the Ponzi to stay on the course and not actually collapse at all yet. It doesn't matter what damage this is doing to renters or the extra Australian homeless people that are being created because of this absolute disaster. It doesn't matter that everyone's wages are going towards housing costs, which means they have less money to spend in the real economy, which is damaging the economy. It doesn't matter that the social fabric of Australia is rapidly becoming frayed. No, there's only one thing that matters to Albo, and that's his housing Ponzi, his precious, of which he is heavily involved in on a personal level. But Albo's not stupid. Even Albo can read the room. He can see that most Australians are fed up at the minute. So what can he do to keep the train from crashing if he can't keep increasing immigration? Well, he can come up with one other ultra cynical plan to extend the Ponzi. He and Claire have decided to let first home buyers buy a home with only a 5% deposit. And to do this, Albo is going to use taxpayers' money to guarantee 15% of the home's value. So think about it, people who earn wages and pay tax, and especially people who are even renting right now, are going to be guaranteeing the deposit of people who have been conned into buying one of these houses and who are actually doing nothing but keeping the Ponzi inflated for Albo's sake. The negative gearing and capital gain discount tax dodging investors who are going to be benefiting from rising house prices are not the ones putting money into this insidious scheme. No, the poorest renters are. Those who will never actually benefit from this scheme because they can't even get a 5% deposit together because the rents are too high that they're paying now. And even if they could never afford the massive mortgages on these super inflated house prices anyhow. Once again, Albo, the so-called Labour leader, which is the working man's party apparently, are only rewarding the privileged. But he knows all about privilege, doesn't he? Look at the Qantas Chairman's Lounge. So yes guys, the train keeps rolling on, but it is inevitable that these prices cannot be propped up forever. Gravity always wins in the end guys, no matter how corrupt a government is. And guess who are going to be the worst affected when this bubble eventually bursts? Yes, you guessed it, the actual hard-working, tax-paying public who have no choice but to be guarantors for a stupid policy put in place just to keep the illusion going for as long as is needed for Albo to keep fooling the public. The other side of the ravine will never be reached by the train. Some sort of disaster is inevitable. It's just a matter of time. The smart ones will not be fooled into buying a discounted ticket from a conman. A conman who knows that the train is running out of track, yet he still keeps pumping out those tickets. So good luck, guys, and be sure to have a look at what is happening in other countries' housing markets. And if you are already on the train, think about it. So if you agree with my sentiment on this video, then please like and subscribe, guys, because there's going to be many more videos like this to come. And thanks for watching, guys. Cheers for that.